Hello friends, welcome. In this video we are going to work with reservations. So if I click here, go to the reservation step 1 or make reservation here, the same thing. So let's go to the reservation controller inside the front end, and here we return this string. So let's return the view, and we have the view reservations step 1. Now save it, and if I go inside the views reservations step 1, we don't have nothing here, so let's copy what we have in the menus and paste in the reservations step 1. Now remove this grid because here is going to be the menu, the form. So let's save it and refresh. Okay, we have the navigation and we have the footer here. Now for the form, I have prepared this form here, step 1, and next to go to the step 2. So let's select this, select all, copy, and paste it inside this container. And if I save it, make sure you run the npm run watch in the terminal, the watch for the Italian CSS classes, and refresh here. And we have something like this. Okay, now here we need to add all the fields. So let's for that, let's go inside the admin reservations, edit reservation, and here we have the form. Let's copy this form and paste it inside. So here we have the make reservation, we have the step 1, and after that we need to add the form. So select all them and paste the form here. Let's save it and go to the browser and see what we got. Refresh, and we don't have the variable reservation, so we need to add that. And also the table, the tables, we need to remove the tables. Yeah, here it is. Just remove this and you know what, let me select all here, copy, go to the step 2 and paste it here, because in the step 2 we need only the tables. So remove all the other fields. Okay, remove this one and the first name and last name. Okay, leave it as it is. The route is not going to be something like this, but let's remove it for now, and also not put. Save it and go to the step 1 and do the same thing. So here we need to remove the tables. Okay, and go up here, remove the method put because it's going to be post. Now here is going to be inside the reservations, and going to say store.step.1. Okay, we don't have that, so we need to create. Let's save it and let's open also the web routes to create that route. So here we have the step 1 and step 2 get reservation. Let's copy the step 1 and paste it and say here post. This is going to be post. Now the method in the controller is going to be store step 1, and also the name. We need to change the name to be reservations.store.step1. And let's copy this and paste it down there. This is going to be for the step 2. So the same thing. Also store step 2 the method, and here reservations store step 2, and I have added 2 dots here, just one we need. And let's save it. So reservations store step 1. This is for the post, and this we need inside here, and that's okay. And if I save it and go to the browser, refresh, we don't have also the reservation here. So in the reservation controller, we have the step 1. Here we need the request, because we are going to get the reservation from the session. We are going to work with session. So let's say reservation to be $request, call the session and say get the reservation. Okay. And add it here. So add compact reservation. And that's it, because when we go from the step 1 to step 2, and if I want to go back, don't forget the data we added, okay? For that we need in the step 1 the reservation. Now if I go to step 1 and we have the value reservation first name, but we need to say if we have that, because if you don't have, add nothing. Okay, and we need to do that for all the fields here. So let me copy this one just to be more quick. Do the same thing down there. The same thing for the email. The same thing for the telephone number. The same thing for the date. And for the West number. Okay, let's save it and come here, refresh. Attempt to read property res date on nodes, because we don't have that. So where is the reservation date or nothing? So we need to remove this one. And let's save it, go back, refresh, and yeah, now we have that. Now what I want to do here is to add the min and max date. So to leave only 1 week here to choose. So let's add here the min date and max date. And this is going to come from the controller. So in the controller, I'm going to say the min date to be, I'm going to use the carbon and say today. Okay. And the max date is going to be max date to be also carbon now, and add a week here, add week. Okay, let's add here the min date and max date. So in the min date and max date. Let's save it. Go to the step 1 form, and in the min date we need to add $min date, and we need to format that. So format, and we need to format in the year, month, day, backslash, and add the time here to be hour, minutes, and seconds. And the same thing for the max date. Just copy this and paste it here and change from min to be max. Let's save it and come here, refresh. And if I click, you see here now we have only 1 week to choose. We cannot choose the 7 or 29, just this week. Okay. What I want other to do is on the value reservation dates, also we need to format this. So let me copy this format and I'm going to say if we have the date, I'm going to display that and format in this form. Otherwise, nothing. So let's save it and refresh. And also we have attempt read property as date on null. Because we don't have the reservation date. So let's say if we have a reservation, okay, now we are good. If we have a reservation, we format that. Otherwise, we display nothing. Okay, let's go now with a post with a store the step 1 because we created this post and now we have this store step 1 method. Let's create that function. Okay, with that name, we need the request $sign request, and my ID is not working right now. So here I want to validate the data first. $sign validated to be the request and validate all the data. To get all the data quick, I'm going to copy it from the reservation store request, copy here and paste inside. Just import the new date, the date between and the time between. Okay, good. After we have the validation, I'm going to check. So if if it is empty and say $sign request session and get the reservation. Now, if it is empty the session for the reservation, if we don't have the reservation in the session, I'm going to say $sign reservation to be with new and reservation model. Okay, now I want to call the reservation, not request, reservation, and say fill and add here the validated data. And after that, I'm going to say the request. Now put this reservation in the session. Request session and say put. Okay, give it the name reservation and add the reservation here. Now else, so if we have the reservation in the session, I'm going to say $sign reservation to be with this one. So I'm going to copy quick and paste it here. And after that, we're going to do the same thing. Okay. Now we do the logic. Let's say now return to the road reservation step 2. Okay, let's save it. Let's go to the step 1 because I want to change this from update to be next. And where is the button? Here. Let's say next. And also let's add a flex and justify and to go to the end. Let's save it. Come here, refresh. And I think now is more okay. Now let's add some data because we validated data and add it here. So let's see if it's work. Let's say a first name, first, last. Let's add the email, sometestemail.com, add the phone number, and add the date here. We need 5 p.m. Add the guest number and click next. And we redirected back. And why is that? With no errors. Okay. Oh yeah, because we don't have the table ID, remove this table ID, save it, and add something here. So just for quick now, I'm going to 5 p.m. add the 4 here, click next. And now we go to the step 2. Now if I go again to the step 1, and why we lost the data here? Not pulled here. What I have done here? But put. Oh, why I did that? Okay, last time. Test here. Add the request. Click next. We go to the step 2, but if I go to the step 1, we have the data here and also the date. Okay, let's work with a step 2 now in the reservation controller. Let's do the same thing here. Let's copy this one and paste it down there. And let's say step 2, we need the request, we add the reservation, we get the reservation. And also now here we need all the tables. So for now, let's say tables and table where the status to be table status and available. Okay, say get and add here now the tables. Let's save it. Let's go now to the next step. And we don't have the min date because we return the step 1. Here we need to return step 2. Okay, refresh. And now we have this step 2. What we need to do is first we need to validate the data and also change the name here. And this is going to be step 2, and I want to give it a full blue color here. So let's change these things, not update, but make reservation. Okay, we say make reservation, and here when we have with 40, let's say with 100, what we have, we need to add the action here. So let's copy the action from step 1, just change, we need to change the step to be step 2 here. So in the form action step 2, and let's save and let's see what we got here. Refresh. Yeah, we got all blue here, make reservation, and also we need to say here step 2, or maybe step 2 like this. And for the tables, let's go here because I want to make some changes. First, I want to get all the reservations, if we have any reservations for the date we have selected in the previous step. And also we need to add the previous step here. So let's, when we have a button, let's add here a class flex and say justify between, and now add an anchor tag to be shref to go to the road, and the reservations step 1, and say go to the previous and add the class here. We need to add the same class, so let's copy this, paste it here. Let's save it, refresh, and yeah, we have this previous, and if I click, we go to the step 1. Next, step 2. Okay, now we need to work with tables here, what I said. So let's get all the reservations who are made in this date. So in this date we have selected here. To do that, we are going to say reservations to be reservation, and I'm going to say order by res date, say get, and I'm going to filter that, filter, and add a function $value, and I'm going to use the reservation here because I want to get the res date from the reservation. I'm going to say use $reservation, and now let's say here return that the value res date, and we need this to format this, format of the year, month, day, only for the date, not for the time. And if this is the same as the reservation, res date, and also format this one. So let's copy it from here. Okay. Now we have all the reservations who are made today. And I want, from here, I want to get only the tables IDs because I want to filter also the tables to get the tables that are not, that the tables that not have reservations for this date. So let me say plug the table ID here. Table ID, and now we get only the table IDs from the reservation. And let me change the name now. Let's say reservation table IDs. Something like this. You can name it all as it is, but now we have all the table IDs here for the reservations are made in this date. And what I want to say now, I want to say tables get, and I'm not going to say get, but I'm going to say where. First we need to check if or also for the guest number, because if I see here, we have a table 3 which has guest number 2, and if I go next, we have also table 3 with 2 guests, but we select 4 guests here, so I don't want to show that with 2 guests, only with 4. Or so let's say where guest number is greater or equal to the reservation guest number. Okay, and also, and let me do something like this. Now we filter for the guest number. We need also to say where not in, and add here all the reservations table ID. So res table IDs, and say get. Okay, let's save it. And if I come here, refresh. Oh yeah, here we need to add the ID to be these IDs. Okay, refresh now. And if I see we don't have that table with 2 guests, we have only table 1, table 2, table 4, and table 5. Okay, let me go in the backend and make a reservation here. And so make a new reservation and add just some dummy data. And right now we have table 1, table 2, table 4, and 5. Now if I make a reservation for this date, and I'm going to choose the table 1, click store. Okay, now here we have the table 1. If I refresh, I don't want to display the table 1 here because this table is reserved for this date. Okay, so refresh, and we have table 2, 4, and 5. If now I change the date, so let's go back and let's change the date, because this is for this date. Let's change this date and come here, change for 5 p.m. Okay, click next now, and now we have the table 1. Okay, that's okay. And with this, now we need to make the store that reservation. So when we stop step 2, we have reservation store step 2, and the reservation store step 2 post. Let's copy this one and make a new method So let's say function and add that method. Let's add the request, $request, and let's validate the table ID $sign validated to be the request, and say validate, and we need the table ID here to be $sign, sorry, to be required. Okay, now we need to get the reservation from the session. So let's say the same thing. So let's copy the two here and say reservation request session get reservation, and the reservation field validated. So only we added the table ID, and I want to now to save this reservation. So $sign reservation, not request, reservation, and say save. And I want to forget from the remove from the session. So let's say $sign reservation, not reservation, sorry, request session, and say forget the reservation. And after that, I'm going to, so let's return to the road. Thank you. And let's create that with, or just return to the road. Thank you. Let's save it. Let's go to the web roads. And here I'm going to create a new road. So road get, and I'm going to return here I think we have the, yeah, we have the welcome controller, so let's use that. Let's say welcome controller class, and the method is going to be thank you. And why I add something like this? Okay, let's name it to be thank you and save it. Now let's go to the welcome controller and create that method. Thank you. And here we are going to return the view thank you. Let's save it. Open the files, go to the resources, and in the views, I'm going to create a new file, name it thankyou.blade.php. Okay, now let me go to the menus and copy that. And in the thank you blade, paste that in. If I don't copy, yeah, select all, copy, and paste it here. Just we don't need the grid. I'm going to say here just h1 and say thank you, and add the paragraph your reservation is ready, or you can add anything you want. Let's save it and let's test now. Let's refresh this. Okay, let's choose the table 2 and click make a reservation, and we redirect to the thank you, your reservation is ready. If I go here and refresh, we get 2 reservations. Okay, I think we are done with reservation. So let's go and check again. Let's go and make again one reservation. Now let's work with the validation. So if I click, we get the res date field is required. Let's choose the date. We cannot choose any other dates a bit because we have the min and max date, but let's choose the time that is not there, and let's say next. Please choose the time between 5 to 11. Okay, and also it's good idea to add here. So let's copy this one and go to the step 1 when we have the date. Okay, here I'm going to add a span with class text to be extra small and add that text here. So I'm going to notify the guest to please choose a time between 5 to 11. Okay. And that's it, friends, for this video. It's long video, but it's worth it, I think. So if you like the video, subscribe the channel, and see you in the next one. All the best.